Hello, this is Stoutman and Garbage Gamer,
Howdy.
and we're here for our post E3 wrap up type thing. We're going to talk
Very
about,
post E3.
yeah, but you know,
We're lazy.
and stuff happens, shit happens. But anyways, um, we just wanted to give our thoughts on E3 this year and what we liked, what we didn't like, what we were expecting and hoping to see and didn't see or did see, whatever. All that stuff, all that good stuff.
Now, there's still a lot of stuff, you know, to other people, what they mostly focused on was pretty much what they could see, which was what was shown on G4, what GameSpot pointed out, what other IGN and other websites pointed out as best of E3 or stuff like that. So most people just know of those games, the big titles that they announced, but there really is just a whole slew of games that were shown at E3, and just putting that out there right now that we don't know all of them. I haven't seen all of them, so we're probably going to miss a ton of games. If there was a game we didn't talk about that you want to hear our opinions on, leave a comment below. Just let us know. And if we get enough comments of a list of games maybe from somebody that we didn't mention, we may do an addendum to this. We may and talk about those if they're worth talking about.
Yeah. I mean, we're always open to that kind of stuff, I mean, we got asked about a game that was, I don't know if that was first talked about at E3 this year, but leading up to E3, they started talking about this game. So why don't we just start off with this? Because somebody asked in the comments to the pre-E3 show what our thoughts were on the new Star Wars 1313 game, which is like a bounty hunter Star Wars type game. Have you seen anything on that yet?
I have not, actually. I see the name floating around, but I've never really looked into it, and which I will do right now, actually.
Yeah.
I'll just, as we're talking, I'll just be kind of checking out the trailer in the background, just so I can have
yeah, it actually looks really
on it.
cool. I mean, they've got what looks like, to me, honestly, the gameplay looks a little bit like Dark Void, which kind of has me worried. But it's
Yeah,
Star
because you had
Wars.
such a wonderful experience with Dark Void.
I was really anticipating that game. I really wanted that game to be good because I mean, it's jetpacks and freaking shooting aliens. It doesn't sound like a bad prospect. The controls, however, yeah.
I heard that was the biggest hindrance.
And well, the story wasn't really that good either. It was really weird. But I mean, you bring Star Wars into the whole thing, and you bring in some good controls maybe, and honestly, it looks really good. It looks like, they took the formula of the most recent Star Wars games, and well, the most recent Star Wars action games, and rolled with it, made something interesting from a bounty hunter perspective. And honestly, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm looking at the extended gameplay trailer for Star Wars 1313 as we speak right now. And so think of this as like a pseudo live commentary on it. About a minute and 10 seconds into this, the ship just exploded and he's shooting things. It kind of has, so far I'm getting a vibe of 3 different games already. I'm getting Dead Space, with the kind of third person, not the total over the shoulder, but the kind of backed away from the character a little bit more perspective. It's obviously playing off of kind of like, well, I would call it Star Wars Bounty Hunters 2.
Yeah.
But then as I'm watching the gameplay here, which looks very impressive graphically, I'm seeing a lot of influence from games like Gears of War, where it's a very much shoot behind cover. It's a very nice cover system.
Yeah.
Still, though, the graphics are immensely impressive.
Oh yeah.
Which a lot of games have this year, graphically, been just remarkable. You know, I thought, you know, Battlefield 3, you know, stuff like that was just, we were getting to that level where it was just like, you can't make graphics really much better than this. And yeah, I was thoroughly put in my place. But yeah, okay, the trailer just finished. Still not quite sure what the 1313 means.
Me either.
Missing something here, or
might be the year. I don't know. Could be just like the. I have no idea. 1313. What do you guys think? What the hell does that title even mean?
But yeah, pretty much it's Star Wars Gears of Dead Space.
And I don't really have a problem with that at all.
And no, and yeah, for the record, that's before you pause this video and start rage commenting. That's not a bad thing. Bounty Hunters was a good game. Gears of War was a good game. So was Dead Space. All good games. Combine them all, get a good game. Yeah. So it looks fun. That'll be one to check out upon release. So yeah, that's pretty much right now all the thoughts I have of it, because this is pretty much the first I've seen of it. Like I said, I've seen it mentioned a couple times, but this is the first time I've seen any kind of gameplay video or pictures of anything.
Well, so coming out of E3, what were some games that you were really excited about when you heard about it?
Or like going into E3 knowing and then coming out of, or just seeing it at E3 and then coming out of it?
Just seeing it at E3, coming out of it.
Beyond.
Beyond
Two Souls, bar none.
That one.
Best in show. I literally got lost. I mean, some people say that's a bad thing, that I was watching the demonstration and it was like watching a really, really good, like, intense, like, suspense thriller. You know, it was just so gripping and so well acted. I mean, it was so well done, so well acted, that it was just, felt like I was watching a really good suspense thriller movie.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen of the trailer, the only little bit of gameplay that I could actually point out was there's a scene where they zoom into the back of what I could think was an ambulance or something, and you'll see little white dots. And there's two little white dots, and they spread apart, and then the person's eyes go white, as in, like, I'm guessing that's like a brain hopping or something like that, or a brain hijacking ability. But it looks like it will be motion controlled, because that did not look like thumb. Yeah, because that did not look like a thumbstick movement, because they were kind of wobbly, as in they looked like you were pointing. It looked like the Wiimote finger. You know, it's like, yeah, it was there and it was stable, but it would kind of wiggle around a little. So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are. It sounds like they're concerned that the controls are going to be a lot like they were in Heavy Rain, because they didn't really like the controls in Heavy Rain. I guess a lot of people didn't. And honestly,
a lot of people are instantly going to jump to the game being one giant QuickTime event and then dismiss it as that and never play it, which is
they're going to miss out.
Which is sad, really. I mean, I do have an issue with QuickTime events. I don't like them. I've never liked them. I always, dread those kind of areas of the game where you're forced to do QuickTime events. But there are games that do it right. Like games like God of War. I've never dreaded the QuickTime events in that game, because they're done well. They're easy to understand, and you don't feel like, the QuickTime events are impossible to do in some other games. So
yeah. I mean, to me, Heavy Rain, the controls, kind of like the controls in a point-and-click adventure game. It's just that putting those controls onto a PS3 game, on a console, is going to be different than it is for, like, a PC, which is typically the format for that kind of game. But I don't see anything wrong with that. I just think
No,
it's, you know,
no. I think mostly here with since Beyond Two Souls is from the developers of Heavy Rain, that's probably why they're worried. Um, but I don't think this is going to be one of those rare cases where gameplay is not what makes this game. It's going to sound weird and it's going to sound dumb, I know, but yeah, gameplay is not what's going to make this game. It's going to be what I hope it is, at least, a game that tells a great story.
hmm
It is engaging. You want to know what happens next, and you're willing to get through the quote unquote gameplay in order to hear or see what happens in the story. It's like watching a really great movie, you know.
yeah,
So that's all I really expect out of games like these is, I know the gameplay is almost in some cases non-existent, but at least give me a good story, something that'll keep me playing, wanting to know what's going to happen next.
yeah. Um, Honestly, I felt like, well, if you're not that into Beyond, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, it just looks absolutely beautiful. But if you're not, there was one other like original game this year. The original game this year talked about at E3, and that was Watch Dogs, which
Oh yes.
honestly really, I mean, I'm already seeing the connections that people are making to Grand Theft Auto and other open world games like that. But it honestly looks like its own game. And it looks like you would play it a lot differently than you would with a Grand Theft Auto type game, you
I
know?
can totally see the elements of Grand Theft Auto. I mean, it is, you got to be kind of blind to
hmm
not notice the elements there. I mean, the obvious open world environment to be able to walk and really go anywhere. The map in the corner of the screen. I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, I mean, where else are you going to put a map that's not intruding on the player? Um, but that's really about it. I mean, I guess you could say the cars, but yeah, whoop-de-doo. Um, but probably one of the things when I saw the trailer for Watch Dogs, or when I saw the gameplay demonstration at E3, the one thing that just made me go I outright laughed in a good way, just going, yes, thank you, yes, as when he's outside and he hijacks the traffic light
Yes.
and he makes all the lights go green
That
and they
was
all just
freaking
crash
awesome.
into each other. Just that kind of diversion kind of thing to where, because that's the one thing a lot of these open sandbox games like Assassin's Creed and stuff like that are missing, are diversion tactics. I mean, there's ways to hide and stuff like that, but open world just causing something that'll just divert attention away from you is a mechanic that we rarely see, and I can't really think of an example of where it's used anywhere else. If again, comment below if you know of another game that uses a similar mechanic where you cause something else to happen to either to divert attention or to help with a mission or to just do something else besides just just to be there. Um, because pretty much the rest of the demo revolved around that area. That area, like he caused that crash right there, then he was able to finish the mission right there because the guy he was chasing just happened to be coming down the road and was involved in the crash.
What I thought was
I mean,
cool is that
so
after that happens, after the accident happens, uh, uh, one of the passengers in the car, one of the cars that gets that's involved in the crash, got shot and killed by somebody who was trying to shoot and kill the main character, right? So it's like, is that your fault? Whose fault is that? Did
yeah,
you know?
I wonder if there's going to be like a morality system
Yeah,
in here, like the taking into account the actions and the stuff that goes on in the world, and how it affects you morally. Like, was it a good idea to cause that crash? I mean, if you hadn't caused that crash, that person would still be alive, but what would your situation be now? You know, with the person that you're trying to track down, would he have actually made it to his destination and caused a foobar? Or would it have, if you did cause the crash, could you have saved that guy? You know, that kind of thing. You know, the choices that you make. You know, the whole, are they worth it, are they not worth it kind of thing. So, I really do hope they implement a system like that. That would add just a whole other awesome element to this already stunning looking and playing game.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can see this appealing to a large group of people. I mean, all the GTA fans are going to get in on this. All the Saints Row fans are going to get in on this. Anyone who's like any type of open game like that is going to get in on it. I mean,
God,
this is going to be
open
a really
arms to
game.
every single fan of Deus Ex.
Oh yeah.
If anybody out there has, you know, ever played a copy of any kind of Deus Ex game, they're right at home with Watch Dogs, because it is a lot like it with the hacking and the technology and stuff like that, it being all from the future and stuff like that. So, yeah, Saints Row or GTA meets Deus Ex, pretty much. And that's pretty much what I said while I was watching the demo. That's the vibes that I got.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And honestly, one of the better parts of that conference, freaking Ubisoft. The games that they showed in that conference were great.
I'm having a hard time remembering the games that they showed.
Well,
'cause I was too busy banging my head against the wall.
Yeah. But when they did show games,
Trying
it was
to
like,
get
that's
Aisha
awesome.
Tyler out of my fucking head.
Like, they showed the Rayman with the Wii U. That was alright. And Assassin's Creed 3, that one, I was just pumped about. That was an awesome showing.
Yeah, well, like you said, when we were watching the conferences, they showed naval battles that were going on during the game, and we were both kind of thinking the same thing, but Stout was the one that said it, pretty much, that this game seems to pull off naval battles better than games specifically designed for naval battles.
Yep.
I mean, like, there are games that are just naval battles, and
They're
they
pretty much
are
quick time events. They're horrible.
And they're a hell of a lot worse. You know?
Yeah.
And then Assassin's Creed 3 that comes around, it's not a naval battle game. It's actually a stealth, I don't know, what would you call it, historical stealth action game?
Yeah,
I've never been able to quite classify Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
True. I mean, they've given name titles to it. They've called it, like, I've seen different ones, like open world. You know, I've seen open world. I've seen stealth game, action game. I've seen adventure game, which I don't quite get that, because the game.
Yeah.
Well, the first Assassin's Creed was incredibly linear. It almost to the point where it was repetitive.
Oh yeah, it was very repetitive.
So, but I would classify it, as an open world stealth action game.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And
So
honestly, it just looks
pretty
so
much
good.
what it is.
And having watched the interview that Angry Joe did about Assassin's Creed 3, I just found out, and honestly stoked about the fact that apparently in the game you are given the opportunity to earn one of these boats so that you can take the boat and fucking go anywhere with it, basically.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
So the free roaming goes not only on land but at sea as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And this will be a first. I mean, we've done air before with Assassin's Creed, but now we're hitting the oceans.
And that's
nice.
awesome, yeah.
That is pretty cool. That we nailed out two there. That was Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed 3. So what's next on the old chopping block here?
Far
What
Cry
we got?
3, man. Far
Far
Cry
Cry
3.
3. We've been teased with Far Cry 3 for over a year now. Um, so when they first announced Far Cry 3, it was pretty much the plot or the story was this. You were vacationing with your girlfriend. I mean, fairly standard, typical stuff. I was kind of droning when I first started to watch the first trailer. I was like, oh god, you know. It did look kind of nice, and I kind of had reminiscent images of the original Far Cry. But if you haven't played the original Far Cry, you wouldn't know what I was talking about. That were pretty much, you and your girlfriend are on a vacation trip, and you end up on this island in some way, shape, or form, and you got to fight your way off, pretty much, and survive. And that's kind of how it went, where, except it took a twist where pretty much the end of the trailer, it looks like you died. That was it.
Mhm.
It just like, all this stuff happens. You met, the crazy leader, and he tells you all these weird things about what insanity truly is, and he goes all gangster style on you, and he ties a concrete block to your foot, and he throws you off into a pit, into a giant crater, so I could think that's full of water, and you sink to the bottom. And I think the end of the trailer shows you like swimming out. But that was last year. Then we get into this year, and yeah, boobies.
Boobies!
Boobies. It literally starts off with full frontal tit shot. It really does. It's this girl in a leather miniskirt, and she is totally like rubbing on you and riding you while you're laying on what I could. When he gets up and turns around, you find out it's like this rock podium, and you're not quite sure if this is the same character as you saw last year. So that's still, the question still hasn't been connected yet, if this is just like many either months or years later or something like that, because he's now leader of this tribe, and he is pretty much wants to seek revenge on this guy. And it turns out trailer spoiler, I guess, the girl that's been grinding you this whole time is that crazy guy's sister. So anyway, that's revealed in the trailer, so I don't think it's a plot twist.
Yeah.
So, but gameplay wise, that was enough of the story. Graphics and gameplay. Graphics, it's a Far Cry game. It's not overbearingly amazing, but it looks impressive. It looks luscious and green. It looks like, an island. So I'm not totally taken away by the graphics.
Yeah, I
But
really wasn't either. It's like, it's pretty good, but it's nothing really fantastic.
it's par for today. It's
Yeah.
it's what we would expect from graphics for today's standards, and they pull it off. So no complaints there. No wow, look at it, but no complaints. So
But the
pretty much
gameplay...
the gameplay looks very unique, different.
Yeah.
As in, there's a lot of, click here to take this guy out, I'm guessing, events where you're using bow and arrows, you're hopping on people with knives, pulling people from top and into the water to drown them. And then there's a lot of environmental stuff. You can blow nearby things. You can release, one I thought was interesting, you can release lions and tigers and stuff like that to attack enemies if they're nearby.
Yeah, there are apparently a lot
but you
of
got to be
animals in
worried
this
though
game, too.
that they can do it as well. That if you're standing by a tiger cage, they can shoot the tiger cage, and the tiger will jump after you.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean,
yeah, the shoes on both feet for that.
it looks like a really impressive game, and from what I've heard, there's going to be a lot of gameplay out of the single player. I heard something like 20 to 25 hours just in the single player, which is not that bad. And then there's also the multiplayer and the co-op. So 4-player co-op.
Oh yeah, they demonstrated the 4-player co-op, and that looks fun. Man, does that look fun! It's what you want. It is a full single-player experience with 4-player co-op. It's not some weird custom missions or anything like that. It is the single-player with multiplayer co-op. I mean, there's not real else I can say.
Yeah. It's its own contained story, too. That's what I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing. A couple companies that are doing it this year, where they're having multiplayer co-op, and they're designing anywhere from 5-6 hour experiences. Well, pretty much an entire Call of Duty single player. Ooh,
yeah.
Into a co-op multiplayer experience, and I think that's fantastic because that adds 6-something hours onto the single player.
Oh, yeah.
You get through the 25+ hours of the single player, then you get an additional 6 to 7 or whatever they decide to make it with up to 3 other people.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with this. I don't.
And then you get multiplayer for as long as your freaking heart desires, man. I mean,
Yeah, I've always been rather impressed with not really Far Cry's, but Crysis. Their multiplayer has always been fun. So
speaking of Crysis, what do you think of Crysis 3?
Nah. I'm gonna come straight out with it. I'm a fanboy of the original. I'm one of those people that I'll look at Crysis 2, and I see the graphics as a downgrade. I see a lot of the workaround tactics to make the game run faster with a simulation of better graphics. You know, tricks and eye trickery to make the game look better without actually making the game look amazing like the original Crysis did, where it was a milestone when it first came out, where I don't think there was a computer out at the time that could run the game at full detail. Rumors go around that the Crytek developers, even the developers of the game, could not run the game at full detail. So they pretty much, I don't know how, they either ran the game very slowly, or but it's only recently, like the last, I would say, 3 or 4 years, that we've finally gotten to a point to where we have graphics cards and processors that could run this game at the highest max settings for everything at like 1920 by 1080 or 1080p. So, I mean, that's impressive to say that you designed a game that lasts that long.
Yeah.
And just in the graphic, and still holds up in the graphics department. So, because we've pretty much gotten to that point to where graphics get outdated once a year, and they do. So,
at least a little bit, yeah. I mean, noticeably. But
yeah. Anyway, though, about Crysis 3, enough nerd jizzing over the original Crysis. I mean, I'll play it, but I'm not going to have amazingly high hopes for it like I did with Crysis 2, because I'll just get disappointed, I know that.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you can't fool the fool game.
Now, let me just... I can get a little blunt with my statements. So let me just go on the record to say, Crysis 2 is not a bad game. It's a fantastic game. Very well made, very well paced, plays well, it's fun. I'm just not a fan of everyone claiming that it has the best graphics out there, where with a simple tweak in the native settings for the original Crysis, I can make the original Crysis look better.
Yeah.
So...
like
and taking 5 minutes to install a mod, no contest. Crysis is still the better looking game.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, from what I've seen, it's no contest that Crisis is probably still one of the best, or if possibly even still the best looking game to date. Period.
I don't.
But
Well, like I said, I wouldn't go fully on that mark and say that it is the best looking game to date. It is a very impressive looking game. I will say that. But there are other cases where games technically do look better.
can you think of one?
Battlefield 3.
Battlefield 3.
Battlefield 3 uses the new Frostbite 2 engine, and there's things that that engine can do that CryEngine 2 can't. And it just looks a lot better. It's more fluid, more polished.
I see.
So there are better looking games out there. Battlefield 3 did take over Crytek as the new benchmark title. So
are there any other games that you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to well, when the Wii U comes out, there's a few I'm looking forward to. I did have a lot of fun with because I know this game's getting some flack because it is kind of unoriginal. I did have fun with the new Super Mario Brothers Wii. So when the Wii U comes out, I am looking forward to new Super Mario Brothers U, but a lot of people are pretty much calling it Collection Fest, Super Mario Collection Fest.
Well, you don't know that yet, you know.
Or, well, the demo that they showed is, and to quote Wario, it's Super Mario Gold Member.
Gold Member!
Or Goldfinger, depending on how old you are.
I love gold.
So, because it looks like they have a heavy emphasis on collecting coins, which is fine. I mean, you do that in the other games, but there has never really been a focus on it. The only focus was you collect 100, you get a level up. So
yeah. So now they're all just like, well, you really should love gold. And if you don't love gold, then your life is meaningless because gold is amazing. I don't know.
I do know there is a Nintendo title you're looking forward to. There's two, actually.
Which ones?
Well, there's one for the 3DS.
Oh, yes. I know what that one is.
And then there's one for the Wii U.
Oh, which the one's for the Wii U? Which one?
Pikmin 3.
Pikmin 3, yes!
Yes, Pikmin 3. Pikmin is one of those games where when it first came out, you kind of hid it away. You didn't want to tell your friends you were playing it because you were afraid of being ridiculed, only to find out that your friends were playing it too.
Yep.
So, and it's now become one of those games where if you have a Wii or a GameCube and you don't have this game in your library, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah. Pikmin is just an amazing, awesome game.
It has people that don't like the game because the game is not for everybody. But for games with let's see, what could you classify it? Real-time strategy.
Yeah, it is kind
with
of
adventuring and real-time strategy with kind of like a little bit of a inventory kind of micromanagement.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like
Pikmin.
it's got some tower defense in there too.
It's just got elements of a ton of different styles.
Yeah.
And with the announcement of a Pikmin 3, he just yelled yes at the top of his lungs as soon as he saw it. Because he is a huge fan of the Pikmin series. I personally like the first Pikmin. I haven't played much of the second one. But, yeah, Pikmin 3, definitely one of their larger titles they have being released for the Wii U, one of their Nintendo originals. So I guess, yeah, okay, we're going to have backwards compatibility with original Wii titles, but how far back are we going to be able to go? Are we going to go all the way back to GameCube? Will they bring the Virtual Console over?
They probably will bring the Virtual Console over, but I don't know about the GameCube.
I've done videos on YouTube proving that these games the GameCube games do look fantastic in high definition with very little processing power or technical up conversion needed. Just with some, anti-aliasing and some, post-processing, which I'm pretty sure if they're claiming that it's the Wii U is faster than the PS3 and the 360, I'm pretty sure it can handle some basic post processing and an HD up conversion.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited for the Wii U.
Honestly, I don't know if they'll have backwards compatibility with the GameCube games, because it seems to me like they would probably just do what Sony did and freaking take all those games and make them downloadable exclusives. You know,
make us buy them again.
Yep, pretty much.
We have disc copies of everything.
Pretty much. Again. Yep.
Yeah, that'd be kind of a dick move.
It would, but you know, it's the way.
It would be a dick move because other companies have done it before already.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the other game, we kind of went off on that one. The other game that I know you're looking forward to is the new Luigi's Mansion.
Oh yeah.
On the 3DS.
See, a lot of people seem confused about that, because
that may be the game that would get you to get a 3DS.
Oh, that's right. Actually, that's true. I was just thinking that. Not only that, though, I actually just recently saw some actual footage from like the preliminary stages of Animal Crossing 3DS. I'm sold. I am sold. I'm getting one of these things in the near future. I don't care anymore. I want a 3DS, you know? But I mean, the thing is there's been a lot of confusion about the Luigi's Mansion, because there were really 2 Luigi's Mansion games shown at Nintendo's E3 conference.
Yeah, there was the one for the Wii U.
Yeah.
It was like some kind of multiplayer experience. And then there was the 3DS release that was more of the spiritual sequel to the original Luigi's Mansion.
Exactly.
It was in the same style.
And that's the one I'm interested in. The other one kind of looks like a fun party game, but the one I really want is like the single-player, true sequel.
Kind of remind me of the 3DS, not the 3DS, but the Wii U version. Kind of reminded me of like Ghost Pac-Man.
Yeah, it reminded me of that too.
The ghost is Pac-Man essentially, and then the 3 other players are the ghosts, or in this case, the Luigis.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You run around and try to capture the ghost, and it looks fun. But yeah, the only thing is, it would only be fun if we're 3 other people, and that's not always the case in a lot of these situations.
Yeah, but you never know. I mean, it seems like it would be fun enough. I'm just kind of concerned about what they're doing with the Animal Crossing and the Nintendo Land, or whatever the heck that is. Oh, honestly, God. Nintendo Land to me just looked like a little mini game, like Nintendo's version of Home, basically, with a bunch of little mini games.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Nintendo Home Land.
Pretty much.
But I mean, I can see what they're trying to do, but nah, it's not for me. I have no say in it or no opinions on it because it's not geared towards me.
So are you sold on the Wii U though?
To a point, yes. I still want to see more. I still want to see what it can. I want to get a full spec list on it. I want to see what the features are, because they've talked almost nothing about the actual system's features. They've talked about the controller's features, but not the system. They've completely ignored the system for over a year now.
And they haven't really shown much of what it can do either. I mean, I feel like we got to see more of what the controller stuff can do in other conferences than we did in Nintendo's conference.
Yeah, it's more of how you use the controller with the system, but not more about the actual hard part of the system.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that. They still don't want to talk about it because they're like not done with it, or something like that, or I don't know. But it seems like they're completely ignoring. It's like having a car and talking about the tires exclusively and completely ignoring the rest of the car.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, look how amazing these tires are. It's like, well, yeah, I want to see what's on top of the tires. You know, I want to see what that does, instead of the million different ways you can use the freaking controller. So it looks impressive. It looks awesome. for the most part, I'm pretty much sold.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to jump to any conclusions as of yet.
So we've been skating around around one particular company so far. We haven't talked about them yet. Microsoft and their conference, which
Kittysoft?
yeah, we didn't really like Microsoft's press conference. And it's not because we hate Microsoft necessarily. It's just honestly, even 360 fanboys are saying, "What the hell was that?" You know,
we get a lot of flack for ripping on Microsoft a lot. We don't want to hate Microsoft. We're recording and doing this podcast now in Windows.
Yeah,
I have a Windows PC. I have a Windows laptop. I have 2 other Windows computers, one running 95 and 98. You know,
I play a lot of my PC games with a 360 controller.
I do too. Exactly. In Windows. So I have nothing really against Microsoft. The problem is their 360 is crap. I'll flat out say it. I can say this because I had a 360 for 4 years. And yeah, it was fun to play, but it just slowly turned into billions and billions of little tiny games and very little exclusive games, and the rest were multi-platform and looked better on other systems. And then eventually they were released on the PC.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you feel like rage trolling me, I guess you can do it in the comments below, but I guarantee you I won't give a crap. Because yes. I know this, I could say this from experience, from true experience. I had a 360, I had it for 4 years, it broke, I sold it, bought an HD TV and a PS3, and I've never looked back. I haven't missed out on any 360 games because they were all eventually released on PC to begin with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have most of them on the PC. So, with a 360 controller. So, in a way, I do have a 360 in a way.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, that's maybe how we feel about the 360, but it doesn't mean you don't that you can't like it, or I mean, if that's what you play games on, fine. I don't have a problem with that. Garbage Gamer doesn't have a problem with that, but yeah.
No, the only problem we have is when you come out of the woodwork and tell us that we're stupid and inferior for not liking it.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, keep those comments to yourself. You know, we'd like to keep this podcast in the comments below for constructive criticism, not telling us that we're noobs living in our mom's basements who hate the 360 and love the PS3 because we're gay-ass noobs. No, trust me, we've heard it all before. We know how to deal with you guys. Just leave it be. Go somewhere else and troll people who actually care.
Yeah.
So.
But that all being said, was there anything in the Microsoft press conference that you liked?
Nope.
Nothing? Not even
a damn thing.
Not even Halo 4?
No.
Really?
No.
Wow.
Halo 4 looks like a Master Chief skin of Halo ODST. It really does. I mean, yeah, it looks nice. Okay. The gameplay is identical. So, yeah, I have PC. I have the PC release of the first Halo. I don't hate Halo. I hate everything past Halo 2. So
is it because it got repetitive? Maybe is that it?
Yeah, it was the same game, just with better graphics over and over and over again. And then when they introduced multiplayer, yeah, that's just no.
Yeah.
You know, when they stopped with couch multiplayer and then they went to online multiplayer, no.
So, did you not like the story past the second game, or?
I don't even remember the story past the second game. I mean, that was how much of an impact it had on me.
How forgettable, huh?
I mean, I know what happened in the second game. Something about Master Chief was back again, having to fight off the Covenant and stuff like that. But now there was the Arbiter that was on the side of the Covenant, who pretty much was, I guess he did I don't remember what he did, but he did something, and he was ridiculed, and pretty much stripped of his rank, and then he was brought behind the scenes for some unknown reason and told he was the Arbiter, or some kind of prophet. And he was given special armor and his own little army, and it ends up kind of playing a dual story thing where half the game you play as Master Chief, the other half you play as the Arbiter. So that's really I don't remember the rest of the story about how they meet and how those two stories link or whatever. And they're Halo games. You shoot things and things explode. So it was pretty much the pseudo birth of the mind-numbing, no-thought process first-person shooters. So
yeah, it looked all right to me, Halo 4, but honestly, the one thing that I was most excited for coming out of the Xbox Microsoft conference was the South Park game, South Park: The Stick of Truth, which has already been announced for PC, so I'm definitely going to check that out.
See, there you go. But yeah, I mean, I have really no say again in the South Park game because I have not watched South Park since like season 2.
Really?
So it's not really my kind of comedy. So I don't really watch it all that much.
Wow.
I'll watch the specials, like when they did, when they had the World of Warcraft special, when they did the Guitar Hero special, and or those episodes related to them.
I love South Park, so I can't wait.
And then the Christmas, and the movie and the Christmas specials. Those are the really only ones I watch. Kind of like The Simpsons nowadays. Who fucking watches the actual series
anymore? I don't watch it anymore. I mean, I watched the original stuff from the first few seasons and stuff. I own that on DVD, but the new stuff I'm really not that big of a fan of. But I have to admit, too, I haven't really watched a lot of the most recent South Park myself. I've caught a few episodes here and there, but it's just like, I'm more of a fan of the first, 5 or so seasons.
I mean, does anybody remember the whole big epic storyline to finding out, what was it, Cartman's real father?
Yeah. That was like,
was it
very
Kenny or Cartman?
Cartman.
Or then the big reveal of Kenny's face?
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
Does anybody remember when every episode had to have "You killed Kenny, you bastard"? I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I watched, like, the first... And then probably one of my favorite episodes, we're going to get off on a little bit of a tangent here, but probably one of my favorite episodes is the one where they hire the only Chinese guy in town to build a great wall around the town to fend against the Mongolians. And it has that line, "Damn you, Mongolians!" And this is like every time he finishes the wall, something happens and it causes it to fall down. He has to build it again. He ends up building it like 6 different times. So and it's funny. It's truly funny. So, but yeah, I mean, I really have no say in the new game because it's based off of the recent modern South Park that I really know nothing about.
I just like that you get to create your own character in the universe and become a part of that universe.
And that it literally looks exactly like the show. Dead on. It looks like you are playing the show.
And it's basically going to be like an RPG or something like that. And I think that's pretty cool,
Yeah.
I can't wait for that one. But honestly, everything else in the Microsoft conference, I just was not a big fan of. They spent too much time focusing on entertainment and too little time focusing on gameplay. I mean, this is supposed to be a console for hardcore gamers, and there was no focus on hardcore games. There was very little focus on hardcore games.
Yeah, they showed Halo 4 and Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Gee, what a big surprise.
And Splinter Cell, don't forget that.
Oh yeah, but Splinter Cell was also shown at the Ubisoft conference.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was shown at Sony's.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it? Yeah, there was bits of it that were shown at Sony,
yeah.
or they mentioned it at least. So yeah, I mean, very little focus on actual first-party titles, if there were any.
And I didn't really see, honestly, for me at least, I didn't see a lot of...
any first-party titles worthwhile.
I didn't see a lot of innovative titles for the Kinect. the use of the Kinect has basically been delegated to freaking vocal recognition, which honestly, it's like that's not new technology. That's not really very interesting technology to me. I don't understand why that's so highly sought after and so
I almost find it
praised.
hilarious that they focused more on the voice recognition because Microsoft has such a wonderful past with voice recognition software.
That's right.
They do it oh so well. I don't think there is a version of the voice recognition for Windows that has ever worked.
Yeah. I mean,
It's always been
a
laughable feature that nobody in their right mind would use.
Yeah, there's a reason that other companies have come along, like the Dragon software, I believe it is.
I hear Dragon's fantastic. The only complaint that they seem to have is they say don't use the headset that it comes with because they said it's a cheap piece of crap that actually makes it run worse. And they actually do give a list of recommended headsets. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah. But anyways, what would you say was the best in show conference-wise?
Sony.
Sony? Yeah, I have to agree.
Best. They had the most exclusive titles. Some world premiere trailers. They were world premiere. They had some different demos for some cross-platform games that looked pretty interesting. But the one thing, I mean, most people will agree. I've even seen some hardcore Xbox fanboys tell me that Sony knows how to sell their system. Mm-hmm. They know how to run a conference. They know how to do it. They don't know they know how to not bore you with media or stats or anything like that. They throw them in there, but they're not take a hint, Microsoft. They're not 45 minutes of your fucking conference.
Yeah. It was like 5, maybe 10 minutes. I don't know. It had to be like 5 minutes. It was like
it was almost like they off mentioned it.
Yeah.
Where they added that they were getting some new channels and stuff like that for their TV feature and their new live streaming services, and which is cool. I don't really use them, but
yeah,
cool. Probably, I think, ironically, one of the most interesting features at Microsoft's conference was for the first time since the console's release, the 360 is finally getting a web browser.
Oh yeah,
they're getting Internet Explorer.
Have fun with that.
I think that's the only thing that I'm actually jealous of on the 360.
Well, yes,
is Internet Explorer versus the crap browser that we have on the PS3.
Exactly.
And the almost non-existent browser on the Wii.
Yeah, and they have been whittling down. They've been whittling down the PS3 browser until you could barely even use it for anything anymore.
There were so many features that the PS3 had on its initial release that are now gone.
Yeah.
That they've actually taken away.
And it's really BS, honestly. It's just like, okay, why are you taking these things away? You don't need to take them away. They're not doing any harm to you.
Well, one of the big things, the reason they took it away, was the other OS installer.
Yes,
the reason, it was a fear of hacking.
Yeah, pretty much.
We were figuring out how to hack using the other OS installer, and they just said, we're not going to deal with it, and they completely took it from us.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were the irresponsible kids on the playground playing with a big stick, and the teacher comes and takes the stick away. So,
but yeah, I mean, there you go, proof. It's not like we're just freaking Sony fanboys. Obviously, we're willing to admit that, yeah, we're jealous of the freaking Internet Explorer on 360. There's a browser that might actually freaking work.
And I do generally like the interface of the 360 a little bit better than the PS3's. PS3's is very simplistic, and it's easy to use, but the 360's is just pretty. It's very pretty.
I don't know.
There's a lot of pictures of stuff. It's very eye-pleasing to keep in the background on your TV screen while you're doing something else. Like if you have people over, it looks very nice just to have up there.
It's much more pleasing to the eye than the PS3, but I never really liked the 360 background there. I don't know. I didn't really like the way that it worked. It didn't seem intuitive to me, but that's just me. I'm willing to admit that.
Well,
That's just
the
me.
original interface before the NXC came out.
Yeah.
I mean, the original interface, yeah, was a little clunky, but they fixed it with the NXC, which for people who are new to the 360, that's your current browser. The next Xbox experience is what they originally called it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's plenty of things on the 360 that we're totally jealous of. One, the wealth of games that are for it, mind-numbing or not, is a huge difference between the number of games for the PS3 versus the number of games for the 360. Like I said, mind-numbing or not, and ranging in quality. It seems like a lot of the real crap games seem to come out on the 360.
Yeah.
And later ported to the PS3, so we get residual crap.
Or the PC,
Even more residual crap. Yeah. I mean, I have had my moments where I go, man, I wish I had a 360 again.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were tons of games that I would want to play for it. I miss the original Saints Row and Full Auto. Those were some... About what?
Gears of War. The new Gears of War. You excited for that at all?
Not really.
Not really.
Again, it's another one of those, it's like Halo. The first one was fantastic. I haven't really played the second one. Played a bit of it. But...
It's kind of like been there, done that?
Yeah, been there, done that. It's the same game over and over and over again. I'll stick with the first one. And again, the first one you can get on the PC.
Yeah, I think the games that we were most excited about this year were the new games being released. Entirely new games. Beyond Watch Dogs. Those look amazing. It's not sequelitis. It's bring us something new and we're going to jizz our frickin' pants, But for me, I have to say, even though I would say that Sony was the best conference overall, I'd have to say that there were some disappointing moments. Wonderbook looked like crap.
Well, the fact that the stage demo didn't even work.
Yeah.
That it took that lady literally 5, almost 6 minutes just to figure out how to do the fire spell thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was still fairly broken. I mean, all Move controllers are pretty much broken right now. I think Nintendo is the only one that actually has enough of a working, system where the motion control isn't overly annoying. But yeah, I mean, all three of them had disappointments. This was probably the most lackluster E3 that I've seen in years, and I've been watching the E3 conferences for about 5 or so years now.
It was pretty disappointing in certain cases. It's just
But the least disappointing conference, I would say, was Sony's.
Yeah.
And a lot of people agree. A lot of people do.
This might be a little off-putting, but I would say, even though the Ubisoft conference was so annoying with those two annoying pricks, the games shown were good enough that I would probably call it maybe behind Nintendo. So Sony, Nintendo, Ubisoft. Because, yeah, it was a goofy-ass conference, but they showed some pretty awesome games. Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed 3. I mean, those two alone were just missing. Yes. Well, EA, yeah.
Electronic Arts, with their probably... I mean, if there's anybody out there who knows Electronic Arts, they had showed some pretty awesome games. The big one, for me, they showed was the return of SimCity.
Oh, yeah. That
return
one...
of SimCity.
I cannot fucking wait. We were talking about this in the pre-E3 show, if you guys haven't heard that one yet. Go ahead and check that out. But, this new SimCity game, one of the things that was revealed to me that I was really excited about was multiplayer. You're going to be able to play SimCity with your friends and put your cities right next to their cities. And that is just awesome. Mind-blowing amounts of awesome.
Um, so yeah, I mean, all the conferences had something to bring. Um,
I gotta say, I
yeah,
was most disappointed in EA's, honestly. I mean, they brought the SimCity, but then they also brought Crisis 3, which is like, meh. And what really pissed me off was Dead Space 3. Dead Space 3 pissed me off so much. Because they freaking. They took the
Action Space
formula.
3.
Yes, they destroyed the original formula of the game. It's nothing like it used to be. It
It
looks the
looks
same.
good,
Yeah,
but yeah, there's no the fear is gone out of it.
exactly.
It's not scary. It's actiony.
It's like if I wanted an action game, I'd play Gears of War. What? Why are you doing this? I don't know. We don't know enough about it. I don't know enough about it to be able to say for sure. But just what we saw in the demo with the unlimited ammo, really, I mean, ammo being scarce was a huge thing with the original Dead Space games. So to just
Oh yeah,
suddenly
it was a
change that
huge.
dynamic, I
It
don't
was part of
understand.
the huge fear factor of wondering whether you had enough ammo to survive the next areas of the game before you could get to a store or to an area that would have ammo. So,
Yeah.
so okay, so we got those out of the way. So we got all the conferences we wanted to talk about pretty much out of the way. Let's take it. We're already running over an hour here, so let's wrap it up with one more thing that not a lot of people seem to be talking about that I want to cover, since it will directly affect Geeky.com in the near future, and that is the wealth of free-to-play games that were shown on the show floor at E3. Now, I don't know all of them, but we will be talking about, well, at least I will, talking about the games that I do know of, or the ones that were shown and that I have uncovered, I guess. So let's get right into it here. The first one, Dust 514. Dust 514, pretty much, it's a style like, I don't know, I guess you would say it's more in the vein of. It's hard to explain, I guess. Um, it'll be on the PS3. I know that. It'll be on the PS3. It's a free-to-play game on the PS3, so that's kind of surprising. But it is a multiplayer style game in the vein of games like PlanetSide,
Planet.
with elements of like EVE Online. So, like I said, I don't really know much about it. It looks fantastic. It's a very, very nice looking game. And so yeah, if you want to check out some more information on it, I'm sorry I don't have a lot more information on it. But if you want to know more about it, just Google Dust 514 and check out some of the gameplay trailers and videos on it. Because trust me, this is going to be a game to look forward to if you are an owner of a PS3. Definitely going to be a must-have when it comes out, because it looks fun. It really does. It looks amazing. It looks fun.
Yeah.
The next one is Hawken.
Hawken.
Now, everybody seems to be getting the wrong idea about Hawken. Because all they really showed, unless you were there, all they really showed, conference-wise, was this weird live-action trailer of the game that not a lot of people got all excited about. But let me explain what Hawken really is. Hawken is a first-person mech game running on the Unreal 3 engine. And I've been following Hawken for many months before E3, seeing the gameplay videos and looking at the pictures. This game looks gorgeous. I'm surprised it's a free-to-play game.
Yeah. It just looks beautiful, man.
It does. It looks gritty, grungy. It kind of looks like almost what you would think of like a Neo Tokyo, Neo New York, very, very futuristic. There's no wildlife anymore. Everything's all industrial. So a lot of smoke, a lot of grays and greens, and and stuff like that. So, it's a first-person, I'm guessing, multiplayer mech game. And from other people that I've heard who were at E3 on the show floor playing it, is that one of the things that is going to cost money is that it is going to have a Steel Battalion style controller that you can get with it. I'm guessing it's optional, but that is pretty cool. Because if anybody knows Steel Battalion, you know that it had this amazingly huge controller.
Yeah.
But that was the fun part, is the fact that you felt like when you were holding this controller and pushing all the buttons, stuff like that, you felt like you were actually controlling a mech. And like what it would be like with all the commands and controls and the eject under the flip glass and stuff like that. And that's from what I heard. I haven't seen any pictures of the controller as of yet, but yeah, it looks fantastic. If you haven't seen some actual gameplay video of this game, please do yourself a favor and go to Hawken's website. We'll have a link down below to their official website. Check out their gameplay and exclusive video trailers on their website. And yeah, you're welcome.
Exactly.
Flat out, you're welcome. So the next one on the list that people seem to be getting confused about is Neverwinter. Now, Neverwinter is
not Neverwinter Nights.
No, no. Neverwinter is a realm in the Dungeons and Dragons universe. It's pretty much, from what I can see, I'm not overly excited about it because it seems to be an everyday, it's an MMO. Flat out. It's an MMO by Cryptic.
And how many MMOs have we seen in the past 5 years?
About 1 billion.
Seriously.
So, I mean, if you're an MMO freak, definitely check this one out. It does look really good. The graphics are nice. But there is, and the last one that I know of that's coming soon here is a game called Warface.
Warface?
Warface. It is pretty much a free-to-play answer to Call of Duty. But what makes it interesting is the very impressive graphics done by the Crytek engine. It's running CryEngine 3. So the graphics are very impressive for a free-to-play game. And it's set, I'm not quite sure fully in the future, but I know is it has modern weapons and there's mechs.
Oh, sweet.
You fight against mechs as well. So it has very much a Call of Duty meets Blacklight Retribution or Tango Down kind of thing to it. Graphics look amazing. Again, go to YouTube, type in Warface, check out the gameplay trailers. Again, you're welcome. Definitely going to be a good year for the free-to-play market. And just a bit of a heads up, as these games come out, they will be on Geeky. There will be articles written. I will give you my thoughts on them, and if I find them worthy, you will find links to get them on our website.
Well, now wait a minute. It seems like you forgot one mech game. Mech Warrior?
Yes, thank you. I forgot. Mech Warrior Online, free to play, another big one. Anybody who likes mech games knows the Mech Warrior franchise, and this is the Mech Warrior free-to-play game that you're going to want to get. Again, very impressive graphics, free-to-play model by the original developers of Mech Warrior. It's Mech Warrior. I mean, there's nothing. If you need an explanation, go to a wiki and read an explanation. I mean, really. But again, it's one of those. Have you been living under a rock?
Yeah.
It's a mech game. It's traditional Mech Warrior, and it's free to play. It's going to be fantastic. No release date as of yet, but open beta starts this summer. I do know that. That's what they did announce during the interview that I watched. He talked about open beta starts this summer. They have started closed beta signups on their website. We'll have a link down below for the website link, so you can go sign up for the closed beta. Oh, and also, Hawken also has a closed beta sign up. Much longer wait time, because they're waiting until the end of the year. So it's another 180-something days. before they even start closed beta, and you might not even get in. But I've already put my name in, and so yeah, definitely a lot of these games when they're coming out, they have closed betas. Go to each website. If they do, sign up for them. You won't be disappointed.
Yes.
So yeah, that's really my take on E3 this year. A lot of great games coming out. New system we're looking forward to. Lackluster as a whole, but there's still tons of stuff I'm looking forward to. And a huge and a big addition by some big companies and some smaller companies of the reflood of the free-to-play market.
Yes.
So it's honestly the last like 3 or 4 months, it's been dead. It really has. a lot of the games, the free-to-play games, it's already been talked about, and it's pretty much at the moment.
So it's good to see that they're not just dropping free-to-play, that it's still there.
It's still very much there, and companies are really seeing it as a nice, viable way to get people to recognize them as a company.
Yes.
To recognize them as a legit game development company, or to breathe life into an older game development company, or a franchise in cases of like MechWarrior.
Yep.
So yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, my take is just that the games overall were more exciting this year than any of the hardware news. There wasn't a lot of hardware news to go around, but the games really shined through. You know, the main conferences were not as exciting as hearing about the games that were going to be released for whatever console or PC or whatever it may be, because there really are some creative, innovative titles coming out, and I can't wait to check them all out, man.
Yeah. Well, I know, I can hear the comments already. I know there's a ton of games we have not talked about. But if we were to talk about every game, this would be like a 9-10 hour podcast, and honestly, I don't want to sit here for that long.
Yeah.
So
we're just going to probably wrap it up here, you know.
So yeah, I guess the last thing I want to say, I have one little quick announcement, but I do also want to say, what were your favorite games shown at this year's E3? Put the comments down below. Let us know. What games were you most looking for that they showed off, or what games that just made you go, holy shit, I'm buying that day one? You know, what is that game? And for me, the last bit announcement is, all I'm going to say is, Geeky.com is proud to announce that currently in development, for people who like to mess around with computers and like messing around with software, especially in Linux, there will be, coming in the near future, we are currently working on it, the Geek OS operating system.
That's right.
It is a Linux distro. It is running OpenSUSE 12.1 with the GNOME desktop. So if that means anything to you, so yeah, be excited. It's completely free. We will be releasing it completely open source, free. Do whatever the hell you want to it. It is being designed on the OpenSUSE software. So yeah, in the near future, I'm not concrete on a release date because we're still working out on a lot of kinks, trying to make it as easy as possible for the new people to Linux. If you're wanting to get into Linux, we're trying to make this a very comfortable transition from Windows or Mac to Linux. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about there. Further information will be released at a later date. So yeah, Geek OS, it's coming soon.
That's right. Thanks for hanging out with us, checking out the E3 news. We'll catch you next E3, people. Sayonara.
Peace out, yo.